Our next conversation today is with Jimmy Graham. He is the founder and CEO of Able Shepherd, based here in Colorado, tactical training company. Welcome to Next. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
First off, what is Able Shepherd?
Able Shepherd is it's a tactical readiness training system and company. We work with pretty much anybody. I initially started it for law enforcement and security guards. After my time with the CIA as a bodyguard, there's a lot of pieces that get skipped when we're talking about protecting our youth, protecting our children, protecting pretty much anybody, innocence, that were skipped by that industry. So when I became a father and had children, I pointed out there's a more efficient way to get there, and that's how it was born.
Republican County Commissioner George Teal, who's a supporter of Able Shepherd, says that your company is a well-regulated militia. Are you a militia?
We're not a militia. Now, he says well-regulated militia. I know George. I actually ran against him for town council many, many years ago. I know George is a constitutionalist and a historian. I'm hoping that what he means is, as the Constitution says, a well-regulated militia. There's a good connotation of people that support law, they support the Constitution, they support one another. I hope it wasn't negative. That would surprise me, but that'd be unfortunate.
I think he meant it. I think he meant it in a positive way.
I don't consider us a militia.
Okay, and why not? What differentiates what you do to protect the community versus what a militia would do?
So, I think that, again, militia has been changed. Words get changed throughout history, and I think it's a negative thing that people think. I think that it is, I truly believe it's my job to protect my children. It's my job to educate my children. We pay taxes so that other individuals, professional individuals like police and teachers, can join me in that vision for my children, right? Align with my values and do that. That's what I think. So I think that people, we've been very comfortable. We just haven't really needed those skills. But when people are threatened with violence of any kind, I think they should know how to do that. I think they should be capable of defending their loved ones.
Last month on your podcast, you talked with Republican Douglas County Sheriff Darren Weekly, who's another supporter of Able Shepherd. Yes. You talked to him about having your armed trainees stand in support of sheriff's deputies if it, quote, gets real bad. You said, what I'm seeing right now seeping in is not sustainable. I see a thing coming for our children. You said the sheriff will want and need tactically trained citizens for support when it gets, quote unquote, bad. How do you see that playing out?
I believe throughout history there has been people, we're on the same team, we're another arm of that team. It's just not possible for a police department, sheriff's department, fill in the blank. If things did get bad, like has happened in any civilization, there's not enough people. The math doesn't work out. If there's a couple, I study mass casualties. If there's a mass casualty, Douglas County Sheriff's Office is going to be out of people really, really quickly. Castle Rock PD is going to be out of people really, really quickly. I said there's a shortage of officers, right? People that want to be police officers because of what the nation has done to a police officer, of wanting to be a police officer. But there's not a shortage of good men and women, right? It's my job to protect my children. I don't need permission for that, right? So we are on the same team. It's not an us and them. Years ago, it was an us and them, and as things turn a bit and get a little more real, a little more scary, then we realize we're on the same team. Like we differentiate between an immediate responder and a first responder. A first responder would be a firefighter or a police officer. An immediate responder is already there. Like if someone wanted to harm you, I'm already here. I could help you quicker than that. I just think we've lost a capability. So that's what we refer to as that.
When you talked about your armed trainees standing with law enforcement, when it gets real bad, what do you anticipate happening?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's real bad or not. Like you're in the news, you know this. People being violent and attacking police officers, and then a good Samaritan helps them out, right? If they're both weak, then that's not a real capability. If they don't have skills to stop someone from being beat to death, let's say, that's not good, right? Because that means that person gets beat to death. But if I see an officer on the side of the road and needed help, I would stop and help them. And that's the thing I think that we forgot. It is our job to take care of one another, which is our motto, simply take care of one another.
Do you think we're headed that way?
I do. I think that I believe that I'm a Christian, so due to my faith, I think that there is I say it this way, we can't keep building while simultaneously chipping away at the foundation. I think we had a solid foundation in this country, and there's consequences when you pull away from the truth. And that's what we're seeing, and it's unfortunate for our children.
If you were to operate in an armed capacity alongside Douglas County Sheriff's deputies, would you be doing that under the authority of the Dougco Sheriff?
I'd be doing it under the authority of the Constitution.
So you wouldn't need the Dougco Sheriff's permission?
I actually have more latitude and capability without it, right? Being an officer, being in the SEAL teams, a lot of restrictions. Being in the CIA as a bodyguard, a lot of restrictions. Being a sheriff, a lot of restrictions. We have a lot more liberties and freedoms and capability as a citizen, actually.
Mm-hmm. But when you talk about standing with them, that you talk about being on the same team,
yes,
that indicates some type of partnership, and obviously, as you know well, there's got to be a chain of command.
Correct.
You wouldn't report to the sheriff in that kind of situation? I'm just trying to figure out who's in charge if your armed folks are in the streets doing something.
No, I wouldn't be
charge?
doing it as a posse or a deputized citizen. I'm doing it as a man and as a citizen of the United States. I think doing things because they're the right thing to do was a good plan. It was a good recipe, right? So if somebody's getting assaulted or murdered, and I could stop it, I should.
So just to tie a bow on this, so if your folks were to be in that situation where they're armed, standing shoulder to shoulder with deputies, you would not be under the authority of the county sheriff. Conceivably, you also wouldn't be under the authority of the governor at that point. Governor couldn't tell your folks to stand down.
Yeah, I can't speak for my folks, but me personally, if an officer needed help, I would help him, right? And that would be the authority of the Constitution of the United States. And me as a man, Jimmy Graham, I would help that person.
You organized a protest and disruption at Dougco PrideFest last month. Why?
I don't call it a protest. Shepherd, obviously that word means a lot to me. I think it means teach, lead, and protect. The way we shepherd is I'm going and you're invited. The reason I didn't get back to any of this nonsense that's been going on through the week, the attacks on our business and all that, is I had a scheduled event in the mountains of Utah, and I'm trying to coordinate with law enforcement requests from like a Mavericks gas station, right? I felt it was necessary for me to stand. The way we shepherd, I say, I'm going and you're invited, right? I think there does need to be a reminder that not only it is my right to stand to protect my children, my community, my family, myself personally, it's also a duty. And many men agreed with me, and they stood with me and simply said that message, stand to protect children, because I think people should stand to protect children. I do believe that the big ones should protect the little ones, right? The message on the back of my shirt said, Jesus loves you and so do I. I wanted something true. I wanted something that was not offensive, that wasn't in your face, like I'll pray for you, as if it's us and them, right? So I put that on the shirt as well. And then what I really challenged folks with was self-control. Can you stand and model strength through self-control? And that's what we did.
So whether you want to call it a protest or not, certainly was a disruption. You managed to keep the show from going on for about 45 minutes. What was the point of going to an event where people had chosen to be, right, and saying, no, we're going to disrupt this and keep this from happening? What was the point of that?
The point was not to do that. It was actually a strange turn of events. It was very interesting to me where we were going to, you belong here was the message. That was the invite to the community of equality, and not of hate, of love, which I'm absolutely on board with that. But to go there and make a statement and just say and model a better option. In my opinion, this is a better option. To stand here with self-control and not scream in people's faces and do all that. I think that if you are going to do those kind of performances and encourage, while serving alcohol, and encourage children to tip performers, just say a man dressed as a woman doing these sexual acts, there's been a bad track record for the past 3 years, right? And this year was no exception. It wasn't good. Right?
Did you see something illegal going on there?
Yeah, I did.
What was that specifically?
Our people were assaulted. They were. There was vulgarity. There were people using their children, shaking their children, saying, "Aren't they scary? Are you afraid of them?" That's just not good. And then blaming us for being scary, for simply standing. I disagree with that.
Did you see anything going on in terms of the performance that violated the county?
I didn't see much of the performance. I did, Commissioner Teal, as you had mentioned, had put something out about some kind of wardrobe malfunction. So I literally just got back in town. I'm not caught up on much of the things. I know we have video of assaults, of indecency, of just horrible behavior, but it wasn't from us.
Has that been reported to the Dougco Sheriff's Office? It has.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I presume your children were not at this event.
They were not.
Whose children were you protecting?
I think that we should protect all children. I don't just love my children, I love all children.
So you were protecting the children whose parents brought them there?
Yeah, I believe that you can raise your kids however you want, but you don't get to harm them. I think there are some harmful things going on. In the world of law enforcement, in the world of mass casualty and all that stuff, there's a trend going towards unhealthy, and hurting people hurt people, and that's not okay.
Who are you to determine how another parent should parent their child?
who is the law enforcement to determine when there's abuse, when there's some kind of, I am a parent.
Well, they are the law enforcement, like they're sworn officers. You're Jimmy Graham, a guy in the community who has guns, and your friends have guns, and you came to an event. So who are you to insert yourself as the parental authority for those children?
I'm an American citizen free on the earth, so I get to have an opinion too. All these rights that apply to them, I think people forget they apply to me too. So who am I? I'm an American citizen free on the earth, and I get to stand and have an opinion. And then other strong men gathered and said, I have the same opinion. And we didn't cause any kind of violence. We didn't cause any. We were invited up on the stage. We went to leave, we were invited to stay. So just because those entities cannot communicate amongst each other, we have it all recorded. So there's only one truth, and the truth is what actually happened, and we have several recordings of that.
The Abel Shepherd email organizing the protest said, quote, "We will no longer move aside and let our children be traumatized and abused by those pushing a perverse agenda." Does that mean that Abel Shepherd employees and trainees will continue to disrupt LGBTQ events in Douglas County?
No, this was not a paid event. The employees came. We're all friends. We're all citizens. We're all, in my opinion, responsible citizens, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. If we do more things, there will be, I'm going, you're invited, that will continue. And if they come, fantastic. And as I understand, when I talked to the chief of police, when I talked to my local sheriff, we were within the law to do so. They are peace officers. We were going to be peaceful, so therefore we were on the same side. We didn't tout that we were working alongside them. The other side did, right? But now we're being blamed for it. Because I'm friends with Darren Weekly, the sheriff, on Facebook, and because he absolutely understands that the best solution for active shooter response is through Abel Shepherd.
Did he know you were coming to that event to disrupt it? Did the sheriff know?
I wouldn't say to disrupt it. I said I was going to be there. He knew
Did the
that.
sheriff know?
He did.
Okay.
So did the chief of police.
Okay.
So did many people.
Why did Abel Shepherd deny being involved when it was deeply involved in organizing the protests?
It wasn't a paid event. It made it sound like my business was paying people to be there, the employees. There were people that were not there, and there were pictures online saying they were there. And it's vicious. It's an attack on what we're doing. We had a pause put on this county, Arapahoe County. I think that's they canceled a free event that was going to make children safer. Like literally, this isn't questionable that we're the best in the nation on this. Like we can prove that all day long. But because me, Jimmy Graham, took a stand within a legal stand that I have every right to take, they canceled an Arapahoe County event that was pre-scheduled. We've done these with many counties, right? This is a free event that was going to make them better at protecting all children, and they canceled it, and I disagree.
Are there other organizations other than Arapahoe Community College and the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office that have cut ties or otherwise distanced themselves from you since this happened?
We have had a lot of positive response. People saying, I never knew about you, and now they are seeking training. We have had some people saying, hey, I need a little distance. For example, if they work for the federal government or if they work for some place where they say, I can't do this, and I've told them that, we're always here. You're welcome to come back.
Any organizations or agencies, not single people, but any organizations or agencies in addition to Arapahoe County Sheriff and ACC?
Yeah, I think one or two.
Who are they?
I'm not going to mention them because, that's people are just, working with the CA taught me this. When people are shooting at you, don't give them bullets, right? People are hunting us right now, and they are scouring social media, and people, if they choose to distance it, they can. Okay, again, you can do whatever you want, but somebody's got to take a stand. I was called to do that, due to my beliefs, and I did. But we've had a lot of positive. We have a lot of thank yous. I tell people I don't work for the federal government. Nobody tells me where to stand, what I can and can't go to, right, as a man. And I will stand for your children. You mentioned a wife. I don't know if you have children. I'll stand for them too, right?
I want to return to a question that I asked you that you didn't answer. Why did Abel Shepherd deny being involved when you organized the disruption?
We're a small company, and I've got one email address, right? I don't know if we should have used a different email or these paid services and all that stuff. The question that I understood was this an Abel Shepherd event, meaning we pay our staff to go places? No, this was a bunch of friends of ours that agreed, and I said, I'm going, you're invited, and they showed up. And that happens quite a bit, actually.
I don't know anybody, it's possible that it happened. I don't know anybody that claimed that it was a paid event. The question was Abel Shepherd involved in organizing it, which you clearly were. We've seen the emails, we've seen the RSVP page. They came from Abel Shepherd. And that's not what you told the public. So my question is—
What did I tell the public?
You said that you were not involved.
I did not say I'm not involved.
The post said, quote, "The media has claimed that Abel Shepherd was involved in the event. This is not true."
Correct. We did not pay people to be there. Did we put it out on one of our email addresses? I believe that we did.
You said that Able Shepherd is not just a Christ-centered business, but it's a Christ-first business.
Correct.
Is it a problem for a Christ-first business to bear false witness?
If they did that, it would be. Right?
You lied to the public about Able
That's
Shepherd's
not true.
involvement in
That's
this.
true.
You organized
I
the event and then
understand
afterwards said you weren't involved.
The twist that you're trying to do, I just disagree.
You
right?
said
we didn't pay people.
Able Shepherd was not involved, and yet you organized the gathering, the disruption. That's involved by any definition.
No,
it's not.
I understand your reach. I disagree.
Okay. You covered what went on with Arapahoe Community College. I appreciate that. Last two questions here. So along with tactical training, Able Shepherd also offers Bible studies. Able Shepherd's The Remnant Bible Study is described as spiritual preparation for the last days and says that it studies the enemy's battle plans. Who specifically is the enemy?
Satan.
Was the enemy present at the LGBTQ event that you went to?
I don't run that Bible study. I am a Christian man. Sounds like you understand at least some scripture. I don't care to have that used against me. Yes, I do believe in good and evil. I do believe that there is a plan that is that people are leaning towards that I disagree with. I disagree with. I think light is stronger than dark. I think love is stronger than hate, and we can twist those words all day long. But when I said sustainable, I think that the men that stood with self-control, times a million, and that's a sustainable future, right?
Was that PrideFest event related to what you've talked about when you said there's, quote, a thing coming for our children?
No. Well, I do believe through studying mass casualty, to say unhealthy people, like hurting people hurt people. It doesn't mean they willfully do it, but I do believe that if people are struggling and they're hurt, they lash out and hurt other people. That could be my kids, it could be your kids, right? So I think getting people healthy and strong and self-confident and letting them know, as I believe it as a Christian man, that, like I said, as me personally, Jimmy Graham, Jesus loves you and so do I. I think that's a good recipe. It got us to the greatest nation ever, right? And if people don't believe what I believe, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not judging them because they don't believe what I believe, right? But I must, as a Christian, I must move forward as me. I can't not be me and say, I'm going towards healthy and you're invited. Of course, that's my translation, my definition of that.
If folks don't believe what you believe, are you going to show up and crash their event with 70 dudes?
I don't know. If I feel led to take a stand somewhere else, I will. And I have every right under the Constitution and the laws of this state and county to do so.
And that's my last question for you. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell Coloradans about when and where they will see Able Shepherd in the future?
I don't know. They'll see Jimmy Graham standing for what I believe is right and sustainable. Again, this probably won't get aired. As a veteran U.S. Navy SEAL that absolutely loves this country, my buddies fought and died so that they can do those things, right? Some of these things, if I disagree and think it's not healthy, I get to say that under the Constitution. I get to say I disagree, right? So I will be standing for children. Somebody's got to do it. One of the objectives was to encourage people to find their feet, including local sheriffs. Like at some point, somebody's got to stand and say, this is what I believe, even though it's not popular, but it's sustainable, right? Again, love this country. I love everybody in it. And that's what I'm standing for.
The sheriff should have stopped the PrideFest?
I'm sorry?
The sheriff should have stopped the PrideFest? What was the sheriff's role in this?
Not
You
at
want
all.
the sheriff to stand up. Help me understand that.
I'm very pleased with the sheriff of Douglas County. Everybody's trying to make out like we're buddies. I respect Darren Winkley. Didn't vote for Darren Winkley. I think our civil liberties, the red flag, I disagree. I just disagree. But I understand as law enforcement why they do that. I disagree with the local sheriff here in Arapahoe County when they put a pause on an event that would have made children more safe. That's unarguable as far as what we are experts in as Able Shepherd.
But I want to clarify what you're talking about with the sheriff taking a stand in Douglas County. Was there some role for the sheriff to play in stopping PrideFest?
Not Douglas County, here.
You're talking about the event here.
Right, canceling the event here I think was a mistake, right? Why? Because the result afterward, the objective was safer kids in Arapahoe County. Okay, if the pressure got thick, knowing that was the best thing or we wouldn't have been invited. That's the best thing for the county, and it was paused, AKA canceled. I don't think that's a wise decision, but it's his to make.
Jimmy Graham, thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.